So today what I want to do in this little blues harmonica lesson is talk about something that my duo, the Blues Doctors, have just been doing in the studio. And so what you heard in the opening little thing was a sort of unmastered, not fully mixed down version of a tune called Cry For Me Baby, which is an Elmore James tune that Robert Cray did and that we've been doing for a while. And actually Mike Ledbetter and Monster Mike Welsh recently came out with a great recording of it. We were doing it before I heard their version, but their version's incredible. Anyway, this way of playing harmonica was very much not for beginners. This is for you intermediates who sort of want to work on one particular kind of what I call there's a lot of different names for it. It's kind of a breakdown, but really more what I call kind of a two-beat stomp. A breakdown's a little faster, like Got My Mojo Working. This is more of a stomp. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So it's sort of, you could call it a slow breakdown if you want. And I'm using a C harp, so I'm feeling this, and it's a heavily rhythmic kind of style. And what I'm interested in is what do you do kind of as a kind of comping thing? What do you do behind the guitar player? And I had to figure out something that would use a fair bit of space, but that would really hold strongly to the changes. This is a 12-bar blues. And so I came up with something like this. And by the way, I'm playing, I've got a mouse amp over in the corner. I'm playing from my Shure mic, so we've got a little solid-state 5-watt amp that just kicks monstrous butt right in the corner there. Let's just start with that. So that's our first 4 bars. What am I doing there? Well, we're starting on the 2-draw. Big smack kind of sound, right? You got to have a full sound for this. That's not really going to do it. Now, at every moment along the way, there are lots of little variations that you could make. So when I'm doing this, I'm constantly thinking about like the basic kind of thing, but I've got a lot of different moves. And so part of this is starting with the basic moves and then getting a sense of what your outside moves, your alternate moves might be. And so let's start with the most basic move, which would be 2-draw. So I'm going to hit it one breath, but my tongue is cutting it in half on the roof of my mouth. And actually, I'm lip pursing this. I'm not tongue blocking, although when Little Walter did this sort of thing with Jimmy Rogers, he would have tongue blocked it, I suspect. But I'm lip pursing. And that very first note, of course, the subtlety is that I'm starting with a little bit of a chord. My lips are a little bit bigger than the 2-draw. And I'm kind of narrowing it down. As opposed to, right? So that's a subtlety. But I might just go, I might glissando down. That's another subtlety. Again. So let's just start with the first notes. Okay, if you're going to do them right, you got it. They're on the beat. Bum, 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 bum. One, two, three, four. So they're straight 8th notes is what they are. Well, no, they're quarter notes. Sorry, quarter notes. One, dun, 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 dun. No, they're 8th notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and that's 4 beats. That's a bar. That's 1 bar. So these are 8th notes, straight 8s. 2-draw twice, 2-draw whole step bend twice, and I want you to put that bend, it should be exactly a whole step down. I think that's really important. It should be. That would be doing it an octave up, 6-blow, 5-draw, 4-draw, if you want a little reference. Tongue blocked. We're doing 2-draw, 2-draw, whole step bend, 1-draw. Now what do you do at that point? What I like to do is I like to go one blow, one draw. And then that takes me right back to the 2 draw. So what did I do there? Well, let's start again. First bar. 2 draw, twice, 2 draw whole step bend, twice, 1 draw. And then a quick little 1 blow, 1 draw. Back to the 2 draw. So that's the first 2 bars. Now the question is, what do you do after that, the end of that second bar? What do you do after that 2 draw at the end, or that 1 draw at the end? Now I think on the if you go back and play what we opened up with, I went like this the second time. So that's a nice little variation, right? Instead of, you can go. And there I'm sort of syncopating that last note. I like that. That's syncopated. So let's do the first 2 bars like that. Love it. That works for me. Repetition with variations, very powerful principle. So that's what I'm doing. Now I want to fill a little space, so what I did there was open my lips up and do 1, 2, 3 draw, just as a little chord, a little throwaway chord. That's one variation that I'm comfortable with, just to fill space. Just to fill space. But I don't know if that's what I did. You know, what did I do? I'll tell you what, stick with me. We're in real time here. Let's go back up. I'm going to go back and I'm going to see what I actually did. Whoa. Oh man. So I just left space. And I love that in the 4th bar. That is such an important thing to be able to do, which is to say I am going down 2 draw twice, then 2 draw half step bend twice, then 2 draw whole step bend. If you want to practice that, you can do the Batman theme song. This is a great challenge for you. It's tough to do. It sounds kind of weird through an amp. Anyway, so we get through the first 4 bars. Now there's lots of variations. Let me try to do it a slightly different way. Yeah, that works sort of. The key thing is, on the first beat of bar 5, you want to hit the 4 chord. What's the best way to imply the 4 chord? Well, there's sort of 3 obvious ways. One is to hit either the 1 blow or the 4 blow, which is the root of the 4 chord. And then the 3 draw with a little half step bend gives you the flat 7th of the 4 chord. I did a little funny thing on the bottom like I was playing first position. But that's not what I would usually do. I would just go. Let's hear what I do on the videotape. What do I do there? Let's go back and hear. Here we go. So I went like this. I went like this. I love that as a 4-chord riff. And of course there what I did the 3 draw half step bend with a little 4 draw. It's not really, it just works really well over the 4 chord, but it works over the 1 chord too. Actually, what I did at the end is a really nice, I'm not going to show you this whole thing. I just wanted to give you the flavor of it, give you a little bit to work with. We'll come back at some point, hopefully, and do a little bit more. But notice that way I started at the beginning. Now that's just a cool little, that's what I call that juke joint sort of spin around. I slid down to the 1 draw, 2 blow, 3 blow, 2 blow. And then 2 draw, smack on the 2 draw. Excuse me. Back to the 4 chord. Now, you know, when I'm trying to show you this, one thing I'm losing is some of the split-second decisions that I make, or that you make, as a harp player in real time, trying to comp behind somebody, trying not to be too busy, trying to lock it down, and trying to really keep everything highly rhythmic. And in those cases, I'm always doing little things that help me keep breath equilibrium. Now, I just recently did a lesson for beginners on breathing, but these lessons, they're still there as part of your practice when you're doing much more complicated things, is that you're always trying to kind of get the in and out flow of energy. And usually the way I'm achieving that is by some little fill that involves sometimes letting the harp away from my lips. So let me just, you know, again, I'm on camera, so I'm not thinking like musically, I'm just kind of demonstrating. And demonstrating is very different than actually playing in the moment, as any player will tell you. So there, that's a good example. What I did at the very end. I kind of did a little out breath. I can't even replicate it. And actually that's how you know it's the right thing. When you're not even sure what you did, but you know that it left you feeling right. It left you feeling like there was an equilibrium. Those are the things, that's where your body, and I can't say this enough, there's a kind of body wisdom. You have a musician's body in a funny, and now we're not talking about, you know, Tommy Lee Roth or something, David Lee Roth. We're talking about the thing that does the playing, the reflex animal, the reflex monster, with all of the embodied information and knowledge that musicians have at their fingertips. That's how they do these things that we find kind of magical, is that it's just in there, it's hardwired. But what's hardwired is the ability in a split second to do the right thing. I'm always amazed when I'm in the recording studio that those right things come along. It's one of the reasons why recording is good. It's a little bit like, it's like being an athlete, and you know, it's like the Michael Jordan shots. He doesn't think those out ahead of time. He just knows that it's there to be made, even if he's never made that precise shot before. Well, that's what improvising music is like, and it's also what comping properly is like. And I think I'm talking too much. I'll play a little bit more. We're going to get on out of here. I don't like that one. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. That's not what I do. every single time that psh, that blowout, it's not what I ever do when I play. So obviously something weird is going on. Probably, and this is actually a really important thing, because we're out of context. If there were a guitar player here, if I were playing my drums, I'd be filling in exactly the thing that needs filling in. When you're just trying to demo something, and this is it's a good time to pause, it's a really important lesson. It's one thing to talk trash with Floyd Mayweather and to say you're going to take him out. It's another thing to actually do it. If you're Floyd Mayweather, it's one thing to talk trash. It's another thing to be able to do what he did for 50, successful title defenses, or 49 title defenses, 50 not title defenses, but 50 wins and no losses. That's a tough thing to do. It ain't bragging if you can do it, that, as Dizzy Dean was noted to say. But by the same token, actually doing it in real time, in actual musical performance, either on a gig or in the recording studio, is very different from talking about it, from taking it apart. So all the difference in the world. And I love that challenge. I hope you love it too. So you're starting now, and you can take some of this, but what I want you to do is make it yours. Don't just try to copy what I did. Get it so it feels right. Then you'll know it's really yours and that you're really playing it correctly. And the moment when you get that's the moment when your brain stops working. So in some cases, having a beer and then playing the same thing can help. What that does is get the mind out of the way, lets that musical body take over, the reflex thing. And so trust the moment when it really suddenly feels right. You'll know you're on the right track. Anyway, this is Adam Gussow with Modern Blues Harmonica. And thanks for listening to me. Every time I do the wrong thing. Anyway, I'll see you down the line. Bye-bye.